Welcome to WP Coffee Talk. Thank you to our sponsor, Helix Managed WordPress Hosting, for both their sponsorship and hosting our site, WPCoffeeTalk.com. Now on to our episode. Welcome to the next edition of WP Coffee Talk. I am here today with Rahul. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Michelle?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's really nice to have you here today. I can't imagine, it must be very late there. What time is it where you are?
It's 11:30 at night.
At night.
Yeah.
So, and you had to turn your fan off so that we can hear you better. So hopefully, hopefully the fact that it's nighttime will be a little cooler than if it was in the heat of the day.
Yes, it is. It is. But, 37, 38 degrees Celsius is it's warm.
It's warm for sure. And you are located, tell us where you're located today.
I'm on the eastern part of India, in the city of Kolkata.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's in the state of West Bengal.
And it's a lot hotter there than it is in Rochester, New York today. Although it is about, I don't know Celsius, but we're about 85 degrees Fahrenheit today in Rochester. So
better than ours.
And I have air conditioning, so. So there's that too.
That's anyway good.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself and what you do.
Okay, my full name is Rahul Sarker, and I'm a digital marketer and WordPress developer. I have two agencies right now, and it's 100% remote, and my team is globally located. Apart from that, I'm also into training. I conduct training for startups and small businesses on digital marketing and WordPress development. I'm also a part of Kolkata WordPress Community, one of the organizer for last year WordCamp, and for WordCamp 2020, I'm the lead organizer.
Ooh.
So that's about me in short.
That's wonderful. I love that. I've been lead organizer for WordCamp Rochester before, and it's exciting to be able to kind of lead that team. There's so much that goes into WordCamp. I don't think people realize exactly how much we do when we're on a WordCamp team, but it's a lot.
There's a lot of things to take care of. But it's an awesome journey, to be very honest. I'm very honored and privileged. But it's something I never found it very troublesome or something. It's something that I enjoy. Might be work pressure, might be a lot, but if you love to do something, it becomes more fun than a lot pressure. So that's something I enjoy. In fact, today we had one of our monthly meetups.
Yeah.
So we got a huge response today, and all of our organizing team and everyone were very excited. It was beyond our expectation.
That's wonderful.
The community is growing and things are taking a very good shape. We're really very excited and blessed to have people around us who are supporting us like anything.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it for you too. So show me your mug. What mug did you choose for the show today?
This is a Nescafe mug that I got with my coffee. I work for 18-20 hours. So coffee is something unavoidable. And Nescafe is one of my favorite brands. So from there, I got the mug. Yeah.
And what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Himalayan organic green tea today because I already drank a lot of caffeine for the day.
And it's 11:30 at night. You'd like to go to bed after this, I bet.
No. I have a few more meetings after that, so it's gonna be late. It's gonna be very late.
Well, this is my mug. I've used a couple of episodes now. This is a mug that my mother gave me when I had my first big job 22 years ago. So this is my mug, and I'm actually, it's a little secret, I'm drinking bourbon in my mug today.
Wow.
So it's a Saturday. It's early in the day. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm just sipping a little bourbon today. So
it's weekend, so no issues. Yeah,
it's for fun. It's for fun, and I'm having a lot more fun on my podcast than usual with a little bourbon too.
It will make it more, interesting.
I'll probably laugh a lot more than I would normally.
That's good. That's even
exactly.
Good. It's better actually.
It's fun. So tell us, how did you get started with WordPress?
It was introduced to me by one of my client. So we at the very beginning we used to have WordPress just for doing the prototype thing, because it's very easy to build up something with WordPress. So initially what we used to do is like make a mock-up of a website, then we converted into custom built website. Then later on we realized that we are doing the same thing again, like we're just repeating the same thing. And most of the clients, it doesn't matter to them whether we're building it custom or whether we're building it using WordPress, because they just need the front end. So for them it really doesn't matter. And a lot of then we started thinking like, let's start using WordPress. Then a lot of customers said like, it's a pre-built package, so will that be useful, will that be easy to use? Then we said like, it is very easy. Like if you put like 20 minutes of your time, and you can probably manage the whole website without you like taking help from any professional or something. You can change the look and feel, you can add contents, you can delete contents, you can add forms, pretty much everything you can do it all by yourself. And then what we started doing is like, with our service, like website building service, we started providing them a free training. So like, if you once you get a WordPress website, we will teach you like how to use the website. So that is something very interesting and very new to in India, or you can say my local clients, as well as like I had a lot of clients abroad, so they find it very useful. They said like oh, this this guy is very good, like he is not there to rob us, rather he's there to show us how to build things. So that in a way helped us a lot. And that was like how we started using the WordPress CMS.
Oh, that's wonderful. I did a talk at WordCamp Hamilton that just went up on WordPress TV yesterday on how to empower your clients to use their own websites.
Yeah.
So, and you've already been doing that, which is wonderful. I love that.
Thank you.
So,
what I believe is like, we should work as a consultant model. And if you teach your clients how to do something, that's in a way better, because you would be getting less burden on after the development service or after the delivery, the support. Because if someone can do things themselves, they won't be calling you and tell you that do this, do that. So in a way that is better. So it's better that we empower our clients.
Yeah, it's like building a car for them and letting them drive it.
Right.
Yeah, and if they run into real problems, they still bring it back and you fix it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, for sure. When you think about things that you've seen, websites that people are building, what are some things that you think people don't focus enough attention on that they need to build better, stronger sites?
The most cases, people are more focused in building a beautiful website, but they fail to understand like what is the main purpose of the website, like what are the things to include. And the person who is searching it on the web, and if you talk about ACO prospect, people are searching on the web to find an answer, or they're looking for something. So your website should be reflecting that. Like a good website is okay, but it's better to have a website that is as per your target audience. So in short, I would say like people focus more on design rather than the experience or the actual content or the purpose of the website. And in many a case, like people don't understand the value of the content. They think like if you have a beautiful picture or beautiful good looking website, neglecting the fact that content is also important. So that's something I find it a bit that people should think about, that it's you're building the website for the human being, not for your search engine. Because
Right.
your clients or the prospect or person who are coming to your website are all human beings. So they should be building the website for them, not for Google, Bing, or any other search engines.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And similarly, what's something that you wish you had known when you first started working with WordPress that you've learned since that might have made your life a little bit easier?
I should, I would say backup, because there was a time when there was an attack on the server, and and like there was no backup. That was very silly of me, and that time I was just 19 years old, so I was not doing all those research kind of things and other things. So it was like getting project, getting it done, and that's it. So that backup thing or disaster management part, that was never came to my mind, unless that one horrible day when I think around 2025 website got hacked, and then I realized the importance of backup. So from that time onwards, like the whole strategy, or at least like we started focusing on disaster management. So that is something I learned in a very hard way.
Yeah, I think several of us have had that experience, and that is a hard lesson, but it's a good lesson because we are very much different in our strategy moving forward from those moments of crisis, for sure. What is, when you think of all the WordCamps that you've been to and meetups, things like that, what is a moment or two, an event that happened, something that was really inspirational to you or a pivotal moment for you, something that made you just kind of take notice?
I would share two moments instead of one.
Sure.
First is when we got the approval for WordCamp Kolkata in 2019, last year. So that was like the first WordCamp for our community, and all our members was like, because when we started, it was just like a very small community, and we were thinking like, if we can do WordCamp, we will get a good boost to that. People started, be knowing about the community more, and that actually happened. So when we got the first approval from the central team of Automatic that WordCamp Kolkata 2019 is scheduled and is approved, so that was like a big day for me and my organizers. So that's one thing. Another thing what happened on the global translation day. So that was the time when after the translation and everything was done, our I would say like our existing lead organizer Subrata Sarkar, he's more like lead organizer or a friend. I would say he's like a mentor to me. So he was the person who actually guided me a lot in terms of the community building and all. So when he announced that for 2020 and the WordPress application will be filed by Rahul and he will be the lead organizer, so that was like a big moment for me, and I was like really surprised that time. So I was just going numb. I have no reaction what's going on. Just I was just stunned that time and say like don't be blank, start filing it right now. So I said, what? Like, yeah, you have to file it right now. Okay. Because after WordCamp 19, we said like, last time we had few rush. So we want to take more time in preparing things so that we can make it even better. So I was pushing the whole organizing team that, let's apply for next year's WordCamp. And by the time, like our community was like, everyone was on fire. They were super excited. They started because previously we had like 22, 23 turnups. And today we got like, just double, even more than the double. So we are getting like huge response and everyone was like very excited. So I thought like, this is the right time that, we start, taking it forward. So I started pushing all my organizers, and what they have decided without like knowing me, without telling me that on that very on the translation day that Rahul, go ahead and file the WordCamp application. I said, why me? Then he said, hey, you will be the lead organizer, so you have to file it. I was like, it was like I was just stunned that time. So so that these are the two incidents like which are really very close to me, and in both cases like I was in cloud nine. It's something that I would never forget in my life.
I love it. That's wonderful. How many people did you get at your first WordCamp?
We got around 250 approx, 230.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Good for you.
Yeah, and apart from that, we also had a lot of visitors from Bangladesh community. So they supported our community very greatly, and also like all the other regional WordCamps. They also show their support. They came like 2-3 days before, and they started like calling me, then other organizers that if you need any help, just let us know, we are just a call away. And they seriously helped us a lot. And few of the organizers and members from other community, they actually came to Kolkata like 2-3 days back, like before the event, and they helped us in like swag packing, volunteering, a lot of places. So I seriously enjoy this kind of this whole bonding. And that time I realized that how strong and how, like how much bond there can be between the members of a community.
Mm-hmm.
Because in WordCamp Kolkata, probably I met them for the first time, and
Yeah.
so that was like like a big thing for us, like the kind of support and love we got from the community across the globe. It's phenomenal, like it's something beyond our expectation.
I know that there's going to be a WordCamp Asia next year.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's on I think 21st of February, and most probably like it's unofficial. So that is like on 16th we are planning for WordCamp Kolkata 2020. So once WordCamp Kolkata is done, like all of us are packing our bag and going to Thailand. So that is gonna be a very interesting month for us. We are all
for sure. I can't wait to see all your tweets about it. It'll be wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. So tell us a little bit more about what you do with your agencies.
We are mainly into website development, e-commerce, and digital marketing. Apart from that, we also provide a fully managed cloud hosting and consultation. Then we are recently started working with few IoT projects, Internet of Things, and we are also coming up with a training center, like I mentioned before. So that's like on the process. And lastly, we are also doing something it's a SaaS product that we are working on for the marketing platform. It's like integrating like multiple channels of uh, AdWords and Facebook ads, multiple advertising platforms, and analytical data, heat maps, and all those marketing data into your WordPress dashboard using a SaaS service. So that is something that we are working on, and probably in 4, 5, or 6 month max, we will be launching that in the market. So this
That's
is what we are
exciting.
doing right now.
That's very exciting. Well, make sure you tag me when that gets launched so I can.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will tag you, and probably I will ask you, request you to join us as one of
retweet
the.
it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
would love to.
Yeah.
We'll definitely help celebrate you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
For sure. Oh, of course. Tell us a little bit more about your thoughts about the WordPress community in India. I know there's a lot of WordCamps now in India. One of the owners of Give, I work for Give WP, Devin Walker, he loves to go to India, and we have several direct employees that work for us over there as well, people that I've become friends with, and I would love to visit someday and be able to meet all my Indian friends now that I have over there. It's a big country though, so it's not like just going to. It's like the U.S. is huge. Somebody says, "Oh, can we just run over to California?" Well, no, you can't just run over to California. So India is the same way. I know it's very large. But what do you see as the future of WordPress in India? Because I think it's going to be even bigger than it is.
Actually, the best thing in the community is the bonding that I see. Like, in most cases, it's more than just a formal interaction. So like there are people in other communities where we are just like friends or close buddies. So it's like we're in a continuous talk that what we can do. Like few months back, we had a challenge that few peoples are not, like very few peoples are turning up, then female participation is very low. So that was like one of the biggest challenge that we were facing. Then we, like few people from different communities across India, we sat together and we had a discussion briefly. But again, this is a very informal discussion, and we tried testing out few things, and eventually it worked. Another thing is, like once there is like any kind of meetup or something, like we get to know the information, like people tag, people share things, and And in India, one thing that I see among most of the communities is that if there is a WordCamp happening, most people go and rush to that particular area. Like next month, I will be going to WordCamp Nagpur. So this is like 10. I think 10 of us are going from Kolkata to Nagpur. So like this, if this is happening on Ahmedabad, or if this is happening on Kochi, Bombay, then Nasik, or anywhere, like there are people who are traveling from one part of the country to another part, and this is like if you go by train, this is like 16 hours, 17 hours journey. So
Wow.
this is a pretty long journey. Even if you take a flight, it's gonna take 2.5 hours journey. This is a lot of distance, but
Mhm.
I see that it's like a big family that we have. And at times when there are issues, like be it like professional, be it personal, like we always get the support, and we always get that help from the community.
Mhm.
It's something that we, even today we had a discussion where like we were talking that that if there is an issue, if there is anything that we need to address, we just need to put it in the channel. You just need to put it in a group. Like most of the communities, they have their own groups. So all we need is to just put the things in the group, and someone or the other would come up with the right solution and help you out.
Mhm.
So helping each other, and there is a brotherhood among all the community members, and we are more or less like brothers, or you can say like more or less like like a family, that I would say. So that pretty long distance doesn't really matter,
Mhm.
and all of us are in a good contact, and we regularly talk with each other from different communities. So
Mhm.
like down the line, I think it will be more stronger, and more people will join in. So
Mhm.
it would be like a big fat family.
I love it. I love that about the our industry is online. That's what we do. So it
Yeah.
makes us, I always say global feels so big until you get a technology involved, and then I
Right.
am sitting here in New York talking to you in India, and
Yeah.
seeing each other's smiling faces. So it's just a wonderful thing. And Slack, I'm assuming you use Slack sometimes too.
Oh
I
yeah.
love
Right.
Slack, right?
My
So you can talk to
yeah.
everybody.
My
It's
full
wonderful.
team is on Slack. Like without Slack, my company is on a standstill.
Ours
Like
too.
yeah. So my
Yeah.
whole team is on Slack, and since we are a remote company, we actually don't have an office.
Yeah.
So we all work from home, cafe, and there are people in my company who are like like a digital nomad. So
Mhm.
they keep on traveling from like one country to another, one part of the country to another part of the country. So they like they hardly go back to their base or their home countries. They keep on traveling, but
Mhm.
those things doesn't really bother the actual workflow or something. So it happens like in a very smooth way.
Mhm.
And with the technology, with the tools that are available right now in the market, like it is not a challenge at all. So running a remote company, I don't feel like that
Yeah.
there is any issue or something. It's very easy and simple. And
Mhm.
Slack is one of the tools that I use like on a daily basis. Probably that's the first app I use when I wake up in the morning to check like what are the things pending.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I love that Slack is almost, for most companies, has replaced email. So
Yeah.
in my company, we Slack everything, and we have, we share Google Drive, and then we almost never email anything to each other. We have an email system for ticketing. We use Help Scout. Other companies use different things, but to speak to each other, it's always communication through Slack. So I just love it.
It's
It's
very
wonderful.
transparent, and another thing is like we have a lot of integration with Slacks.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's like with the website or the CRM that we use, so
Mm-hmm.
it's all integrated together.
Yeah.
So whatever happening on any of the websites or any of the a CRM, whatever it is, it's all get stored on the Slack, and I get a notification. So
Yeah.
that's why like you just open one app and you get all the things like straight line, and you click on
Mm-hmm.
it and you go to the respective link. So
Yeah.
this is like a very very helpful thing for us.
Are you
Saves a lot of
using
time.
Yeah, are you using Zapier for a lot of that? Because we're using Zapier for a lot of those kinds of integration.
Yes, like in some cases we use it, and like our CRM, they have a standalone integration support for Slack.
Mm-hmm.
Then for website integration, for a couple of websites we are using Zapier, and a couple of websites like it's like a customer API integration that we have done. So
Gotcha.
like we have a lot of websites for the company. So like not all are built with WordPress. Sorry.
No, that's
So
okay.
so you can just keep out this part. So in those cases, like we
Yeah,
use different integration methods. So
sure.
but all ends up in the bottom of the funnel to Slack.
Yeah,
So that's it.
it's a great place to kind of keep focused on things for sure.
Yeah.
When you talk about working with customers and when you're talking to people and maybe helping people within the community build websites, what are a few plugins that you recommend to people that they really should have on their website, whether it's a specific plugin or a type of plugin?
Is it like for the community? Because
Yeah.
or is it for the general? Like if you're talking about community, personally, in my company, we provide free services to all the non-profit organizations. So
Mm-hmm.
there, the strategy, the kind of plugins we use, the kind of theme we use, that's again different, because we prefer using less plugin or themes which are having a commercial terms,
Right.
so that it becomes less hassle for the
Mm-hmm.
for the NGOs for the non-profit organizations to
Mm-hmm.
use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like when it comes to commercial products or commercial website services, so that time one of the plugin that we use uh, for example, for ACO, we mainly use right now Yoast and RankMath. Both are doing great. Then for few websites we use Elementor.
Mm-hmm.
Then WooCommerce again, like for e-commerce and all. And uh, then we have few extensions related to Gutenberg.
Mm-hmm.
So these are pretty much that we mainly use, because many a cases what we do, we just custom hand code and build
Yep.
things, and we
Understandable.
get rid of a lot of things. So so we
Yeah.
believe in more customization than coming up with a set of plugin or a set of themes, because
Gotcha.
that makes the website much more secure and faster. So that because this depends on the customer's requirement. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
no,
it.
for sure. Very good. At any point in your WordPress journey, have you had somebody that was like a mentor or actual mentor to you, or somebody that you looked up to for answers?
There are a couple of people who actually uh, inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about Subrata Sarkar from my community, who gave me the opportunity to be a part of it. And then another person is Rahul Bansal from Pune. So he is like a real mentor, and it's like an inspiration to me. Then I have Asif Rahman from Bangladesh. He's again like a elder brother and a mentor, and he's a person like I always look after, because I think, and he's a big motivation behind me attending the WordCamps, because he inspired me a lot. He
Mm-hmm.
attended 120 or 100 plus WordCamps. So he's like WordCamp guru for us. And there are a lot of people in the community. So taking names sometime not a good idea, because I might miss someone. So but these three people are like very special to me,
Mm-hmm.
because I can always get back to them and ask them something, and I'm pretty sure they would always guide me in the right direction. And I have seen some of them when I was like in the very beginning of my career. So I have used their plugin, I have used their server management tool when I was like starting up. So from inspiring like an inspiring hero to to a mentor or an elder brother, and very friendly person. And I would say the credit goes to the community, because that's from where we became so close, from where we met in person. That's where there is a friendship built. So again, the credit goes to the community.
That's wonderful. Thinking of maybe people you don't know personally, who's somebody that you admire in the WordPress community and why?
Obviously, Matt is one of them because he is the person because of which we're sitting together.
Right.
Then I think that he is one person I always look after, and he made such a awesome product and almost made it free for everyone to use, made it open source. This really need that that courage and passion to do something, because you're giving your baby for free. To be very honest, it's like a baby project for him. So he's like a person whom I would love to meet someday.
Me too. Well, actually, I met him once. I
Wow.
was at WordCamp US, and we had an empty spot at our lunch table, and he started walking towards our table, and he said, "Is that seat free?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." Please come join us.
Yeah.
And almost nobody else at the table knew who he was, because they were also new to WordPress, and I was like, "So tell me everything." He's a very nice man, very quiet, very nice man. So
yeah, I would expect him for WordCamp Asia at least, because it's tough for us to because of visa and all the stuff for us to go to Europe and US. But I'm planning next year to cover both, so let's see what's still for me.
That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
What's something you'd like to learn in WordPress that you haven't learned yet?
The customization, because I haven't coded in the last I would say like 2-3 years, because now I have a developer and other things, and probably the major time of my day goes into meetings and dealing with clients, consultations. So I want to start learning those technologies, so that again I can start coding, because in the last 2-3 years I missed out a lot of things. So that's something that I would want to go back and start learning more.
That's great.
One thing.
Yeah, that's great. I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, but I'd like to start learning some more too. I mean, I know CSS, but I want to learn PHP and things like that too. So no, that's great. What has been your biggest WordPress mistake? Something that you did that you just, and what did you learn from it?
I would again come back to backup, because that's something, I seriously, made a blunder. I had to rebuild 20 plus websites. So that's a big blunder. And again, another thing is not taking care of the server level infrastructure and architecture. So that's something, I learned again on the hard way, how to set up that environment on the server so that your website becomes more reliable, faster, and secure. So in terms of security, that time, all those things I learned later on. So that's something I would say I learned in a very hard way. Because if you don't make a mistake, you will not learn something. I learned a lot with that mistake, and it was very costly mistake for me as well.
Very humbling when you make a mistake like that. For sure. What's one of your proudest WordPress moments? I know being asked to be the lead organizer next year, definitely, but something you haven't mentioned yet. But tell us another one.
Another one, probably when I got my first speaker approval email. So that is again a big day for me, and it came. I got the first email from WordCamp Kathmandu. Then I got it from my own community, Kolkata, and recent one I got it from Nagpur. So these are the three things. But again, WordCamp Kathmandu would be very close to me, because that's something. The first time I got the speaker application approval, that's one thing. And again, that was the first international WordCamp for me, outside India. So
what was your topic? What did you speak on?
I was talking about conversion optimization.
That's great. That's wonderful. And have you given the same talk, or have you given different talks? with the
Oh,
other
this is
location?
both are different. Another in Kolkata, the talk was about inbound and outbound marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And for Nagpur, the talk will be about lead generation
Oh, very
using
good.
WordPress. So,
Excellent. That's awesome.
thank you.
If you weren't working in web and web technologies, what's another career that you might like to try?
Probably I would have my own restaurant because I love cooking.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love eating, so I would come to your restaurant.
Uh, you can come down to Kolkata anytime, be my guest, and I would love to cook for you, no problem.
Oh, I would love that too. Wonderful. What's your specialty? What do you love to cook the most?
Mainly, there is a dish which is a combination of meat, rice. It's called biryani. So my heart about it. So biryani is one of my specialty, and another one is again I think a similar combination, but it's a humble combination also. It's called khichdi. So which is like a mixture of lentil, rice, few masala, and that's it. Vegetables, of course. So this is something. And surprisingly, I made good pasta, like
Mm-hmm.
the Indian version of pasta, which my
Okay.
friends love. So these are the things that mainly I do. Like mainly I cook whenever I get the like time, or
Mm-hmm.
like mainly my sister. She loves my food, so she
Oh,
keeps on
good.
bugging me, like cook me this, make me this, do this. So she is a person because of whom I started cooking. So yeah, she
Well,
is. That's how it
now
started.
now I want Indian food, so I think I know where I'm going for dinner tonight. Have to find one
Oh,
of our. We have lots of
yeah.
Indian restaurants here in Rochester. I'm sure it's not as good as actually being in India, but now my mouth is watering for makhani. What's something on your bucket list?
Traveling, like traveling, and traveling is like something that is like a big part of me.
Mm-hmm.
So previously, I tried like for traveling to Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, and Cambodia, all four.
Mm-hmm.
But because of certain reason, I had to cancel that, and
Mm-hmm.
probably I would be doing it in the month of September before going to WordCamp Dhaka. So
Mm-hmm.
again, this is not confirmed. So currently, that traveling plan is on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that is there is visiting few WordCamps in US,
Mm-hmm.
and of course like attending WordCamp Europe and US.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about WordCamp Asia because that is not in my bucket list. That is something that I will do it.
That's
So
wonderful.
there's
That's
these
good.
are the traveling thing that I have in my bucket list.
I love it. That's wonderful. So, show us or tell us about one of your hidden talents, something that you enjoy or do that the WordPress community might not know about you.
Mm, I can make friends very easily with almost anyone. And another thing is I'm good in sales, I would say, because very recently I went for a trip in Delhi. So there, like I met a lot of friends, and I made few sales as well. So you
That's
know,
wonderful.
I believe that I'm a very good in communicating and understanding what is the vibe going on, and probably if and probably there is an opportunity to make a sale or not. So
That's
that's something
wonderful.
like a placing that I have.
Those are incredibly good talents to have in our line of work for sure.
Yeah, it is. And networking, to be very honest, because it's all
Hmm.
about networking. It's all about the people. Like if you meet the right people, your life will change. And if you meet the
Hmm.
wrong people, you just will go down like anything. So
Your
yeah, like
your life will change both ways, but one way is better and
right,
one way not so much.
not so bad.
For
So
sure.
I would say networking is like one of my blessing that I got from that I have. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, you're very easy to talk to, so I can see why that would be something
Thank you
good.
so much. Thank you so much.
So tell us, how can our listeners find you on Twitter, your website? Give us some ways we can be in
Uh,
touch.
I am available on Slack. That's the very most easiest way to reach me. Twitter, I'm always online, but I really don't tweet that much.
Okay.
But I follow everything. Like, if I follow like 300, 400 people on Twitter, I literally follow all the tweets. I really want, like, check what's going on, what's not. So Twitter is @Rahul D Sarkar.
Mm-hmm.
Then email address, like, again, my Twitter, like rahuldSarkar@gmail.com. Then I'm available on Facebook, again, the same URL.
Mm-hmm.
And my website is rahuldsarkar.com.
So I see a common theme.
Yeah, just you need to Google Rahul Sarkar, and
there
from
you
there
are.
you get all the information.
That's wonderful. And I never asked you, how did you find out about WP Coffee Talk?
Actually, that was, I think, I saw an application of Nidhi Jain.
Yes.
So her podcast was published, and like, I haven't met her, but she's a very good friend of mine, and she's also a very senior member in the WordPress community. So I always follow her and see what's going on or not. Yeah. So I think from there, first time I heard about the whole website and the podcast. Then good. I somehow I got connected with you on Facebook.
Yes.
Then one day we chatted, and from there I get to know like what is the whole thing. So like I said, like, this is the first time like I'm in a podcast, so this is like good. A very new experience for me. So well, thanks to you for having me. I'm
guessing it won't be your last one. I'm guessing you're going to
hopefully
like a whole lot more. Yeah. Well, thank you for staying up so late in your time zone over there to talk to me. I really appreciate it. This has been wonderful getting to know you, and I hope that we get to meet face to face at some WordCamp someday soon. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely it will happen. I'm very optimistic about it.
And then you'll cook for me.
Oh, definitely. That's like, generally if I travel, I take a Airbnb. So if I get an Airbnb, I would be having a kitchen, and I would love to cook. No problem at all.
That'd be great. We'd love that.
Awesome. You can bring your friends as well. So
sounds good. We'll have a big party. Yeah. I love it.
Definitely. Like, no problem at all.
Wonderful.
And I would request you make a plan if it's possible, come and, join us on our WordCamp.
I would love to. I don't know if I'll make it 2020, but I will definitely try to start saving up some money and make it over to your WordCamp. I've never been to India, and I would love to come. So thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you.
That would be great. Well, you have a good evening, the rest of your night, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.